the next step to talk about is preparing for tile on the floor. And we're going to be installing a cement board underlayment. We call it a CBU. And cement board underlayment is important for a lot of reasons. It provides a flat, smooth, and very durable surface for tile to adhere to. It's got great longevity, it resists moisture and mold, and it doesn't swell and expand. Very similar to Durock. We're going to be using a Permabase product. It's a 1/4 inch thick by 3 foot by 5 foot sheets of cement board. And we're going to install it here on the floor. We're going to apply it with, laminate it to the floor with thin set and then screw it down. The reason why I like using the underlayment is it's easy to use, it's fast, and it gives you that smooth and flat surface. You know, a lot of people say, what is cement board underlayment? Well, basically, cement board underlayment is very similar to Durock, and Durock is one of the products that makes it. It's a rigid substrate made of Portland cement aggregate, glass mesh, and matting material. And like I said, it provides a really hard, smooth, and durable surface that really can withstand prolonged exposure to moisture. It's perfect for the bathroom. It does not swell or rot, and it certainly doesn't disintegrate. And that's why we use it in showers a lot. But you can also use it in other places. Obviously, showers and floors for ceramic and slate tiles, countertops, tub decks, and people often use them outdoors on kitchen countertops outdoors. It's so popular because of its low absorption to water. It just creates a better tile bond than plywood used to do over time, or a mud job. The other thing that we really like about using this is it does not raise the floor height very high compared to the old school mud jobs. You're only raising the floor a 1/4 inch, which a lot of times transitions to other rooms and thresholds causes problems, and you have to cut doors. So that allows us not to have to deal with that transition height. The installation of this stuff is pretty simple. First of all, cutting it, I use the score and snap technique. I basically use a utility knife or a carbide tip scoring tool. I use a straight edge and I just score my line, and then I just snap or bend back the board along the cut line. And then I just use a utility knife to cut the mesh tape. And then you're good to go. Applying it to the subfloor, first make sure that my subfloor is secured properly. I applied screws across the whole subfloor. I re-fastened my subfloor. I made sure all my fasteners were sunk down, and I completely cleaned it and vacuumed it. Then I used a 1/4 inch trowel and applied thin set mortar to the subfloor. And that's basically to laminate the CBU down to the subfloor. Once that's done, I also make sure that I leave an 1/8 inch space between joints of the boards and also the corners. I also try to leave a 1/4 inch space along the walls. And then I stagger my joints. And I stagger my joints over my subfloor for a lot of reasons, to avoid cracking and settling and things like that. So when you're fastening the CBU down, after you've used your thin set, I use screws, and I fasten it every 8 inches on center. I do that through the field and along the edges. And I try to stay more than 3/8 of an inch in from the edge and 2 inches in from all the corners. And that usually will prevent the board from breaking or crumbling. When you have to deal with cutting, a lot of times, you can use power tools to cut this, but it creates a mess and it's very dusty. But I had to cut around the toilet flange. You can use a hole saw or a jigsaw to do this, or simply just trace your circle and use a 1/4 inch drill bit and drill a series of small, closely spaced holes and just knock it out with a hammer and you're good to go. It's that simple. So that's the process for installing the floor. The next step will be preparing it for tile.